So today I want to take you through our journey on trying to find new tires. Um, it's not easy right now. Everything, just like everything, it's due to COVID, but there is definitely shortages in the industry. We spent a lot of time and effort trying to find tires, and ultimately we found tires through motorhometires.com. Uh, we were very happy with their service, and we were very pleased with the outcome. Safety is not something to take lightly when you're rolling 39,000 pounds down the road, and it's something that we took very seriously. So stay tuned if you want some helpful information. I'll say it in the video, but I get nothing out of this. There's no affiliate, there's no kickbacks, there's no nothing. It is just me hoping that this information helps you. If you're in the search for tires for your motorhome, uh, we have a Class A, and we had 6-year-old tires and did not know how they were taken care of. So uh, stay tuned. Hopefully you'll find some really good information about how to find tires, what you need to know about when you're looking for tires, and then maybe a resource that will help you. Thanks for watching. So I'm going to take you through everything that I've learned in researching what tires I need, what do I need to know about tires. Part of the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to introduce you to Jeff Bound from motorhometires.com. These were the guys that helped me fill this need, and they did a great job, and as industry experts, you'll be in a lot better hands. So with that, hey Jeff, how are you, sir? I kind of wanted, one of the things I thought about, I wanted to say, there's nothing in this for me. I'm not getting the credit. I'm not getting any commissions. I'm doing this for two reasons. One, I believe in when somebody does a good job, you tell them, let them know that they did a good job. And number two, there's a lot of people out there with the tire industry being what I found it to be that could hopefully use this this knowledge and this help. So that's kind of my disclaimer for anybody watching this, is that there's nothing in it for me other than to acknowledge it and to make sure other people have the same resources that I found, and maybe have a better time getting there quicker than I did. So Jeff, with that, why don't you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about Motorhome Tires, how long you guys have been around and how you got started.
Over 30 years. And this all started with one person who had a beautiful Class A coach, 45 foot, an elderly gentleman, and said, you come recommended, and I don't want to spend time trying to find tires and educate myself on tires. I want to spend my time on the golf course with the grandkids. And so just do this for me. I want somebody to come here, take care of it. I trust you. Don't scout me. But handle it.
Make it happen.
Just make it happen.
Yeah.
So at that time, that was the first install that at that time it was just me I'd ever done. And 3 days later, 150 telephone calls. It got happened. We got it done, and he was happy with it. And so he recommended us. That person, and it just kind of started growing. And now, fast forward 25 years or so later, we're doing about 2,000 mobile installations a year. We have 4,000 commercial installers in our network.
That's awesome.
Just had some great people, got some great team leaders, and just humbled and happy to serve. And I just love the motorhome community. They're great folks, and we've had just such wonderful experience, and I enjoy working with them. And this is just another example.
Yeah, the same thing for me. I love the community. It's part of one of the benefits and joys of being out here on the road. And you guys are located out of Nashville?
Nashville, Tennessee. Yes, sir.
Nashville, Tennessee. I lived there for a lot of years. So I'm going to jump in. I'm just going to share kind of the things that I've learned about tires and that type of stuff. And you jump in if you hear me say something or you want to elaborate on something or clarify, please. So what I found out about tires, obviously, you need to know the tire size. You need to know the speed rating, the load range, or what they call the ply, the
Sure.
DOT date code, and the tire pressure.
Yep.
And so here are some of the things that I found out about each of those. Disclaimer, this is for my rig. So I have a Class A 2018 Tiffin Phaeton 40IH. I'm just going
Okay.
to recommend to anybody that goes out there looking for tires. Uh, yeah, I wouldn't just trust by looking at, fifth wheel Class A, doesn't matter, just looking at the tires. Ask your RV manufacturer. They have a specific tire recommendation. My specific tire size is a 295/80 R22.5s. And the key for me that I found out about that is really that helps the ply and all those things come into the load. This is a 40,000 pound coach available, so we're running at about 38,000, 37,000 pounds. And that's a lot of weight to have on a tire. And so, what I found out is you don't want to sacrifice. This is not a place to cut corners or buy cheap or do something. It's also something you can't just look at the tire and go, "Wow, I see a lot of tread. Should be good." That I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
I would add also to your list of criteria, which by the way is excellent. It's very, very, very thorough. I would also add the application, meaning the wheel position, the type of tread. What's the application of the tire? So in a
Drive
motorhome
tire. Yeah.
application, yeah, we want there's steer tires. So the kind of application of tires are there's a steer tire, there's a drive tire, which is a lug kind of a pattern. There's an all position tire. And in a motorhome application, we want an all-position steer tire for two reasons. They're quieter and they're smoother. So if we put a lug pattern, for example, on any vehicle, that lug pattern creates noise. Those 45-degree siping heavy lugs create noise and they create a rougher ride. So in a motorhome, especially larger motorhomes, the beautiful ones that we're talking about, Class A coaches, the larger ones, always steer tires in all wheel positions.
Yep.
That's so.
And
So
then,
I would just add application
perfect.
to that, to your detailed list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next thing is kind of what I found out is maximum speed. When I started looking, I didn't understand that there is a speed rating, and the tires that I ended up getting were the L or 75 mile an hour speed rating. It says. I looked that up and it just says for an extended period of time. So that's not to say you can't go 76, 77 miles an hour if you're, passing somebody, but it says not for an extended period of time. So
Yes.
in these big motorhomes, you don't need a lot of speed anyway. That speed's kind of scary when you catch a good downhill and that load of 40,000 pounds starts rolling. So I'm very happy to keep it under 75 at all times anyway.
Smart.
And
Smart.
then, and then yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I say I tend to get a little nervous when a customer asks, if they're driving a 45-foot coach and they ask, are these speed rated tires?
Yeah.
Those two should not go together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I get the 99 mile an hour rated tires?
This isn't NASCAR. Okay. We're driving a 45,000 pound coach. But to your point, you're absolutely right. If it's rated 75 miles an hour, it says don't drive it over that for an extended period of time. Don't be driving for 3 hours at 80 miles an hour. That's really all it says. You go over a little bit, that's fine.
And then the load range was 8 or 16. I've seen them both. So the 16 is the ply. And basically that's kind of what I understand is how tough that sidewall is.
Well, it has to do with the number of plies, literally, how many plies are going from shoulder to shoulder. And on the tread face. So it's 18, 16, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the next thing is what I'll call the DOT date code or Department of Transportation. When I first started looking, every place we stopped, different cities for the last 2 or 3 months, we looked at whatever local tire shops there were, chain dealerships, and I ended up finding one dealership or a tire store basically that said, yeah, we have 6 tires. And I was like, great. Uh, and they sent them over to be installed, and they were literally a 3213, which DOT date code, that means the 32nd week of 2013, which is somewhere June, July, August
Wow.
timeframe of 2013. Now, this being 2021, that means those tires are already over 8 years old.
Yep.
And that, from a safety standpoint, you couldn't give them to me for free or pay me to put those on my rig. It's just not safe. And I was talking to somebody and was explaining that, and they were like, "Wait, is that a problem?" And I'm like, "Yes." In the motorhome industry, it's not like your car. I've really never thought about it in a car, in a passenger car. But when you're putting it on 40,000 pounds on top of that tire, just the age alone, those tires should have been destroyed probably 3 or 4 years ago, period, let alone 5 or 6 years ago. At best, you're only going to expect another year out of them or something along those lines. Uh,
That's correct.
so that was huge for me, and it's something that you need to look at. And then I had another dealership that had tires that were 2000. They were born on 2020, early 2020, February 2020. Now that wasn't too bad of a thought process. Okay, I might lose a year out of them. Well maintained, Michelin at least. Looking at their stuff, they recommend after year 5, you get them checked annually by a professional, and you do the right things by taking care of the inflation, keeping them out of the sun. Don't use products, like making them shiny, that have chemicals and stuff like that. But you take care of your tires, you can get, I've read, up to 9 or 10 years out of them safely. Um, in the RV industry, I think there's this common after 5 years you throw them away, but that's not the case if you take care of your tires.
Go 6 years. Really, 7 is really questionable after that.
Yeah.
But certainly taking care of them and keeping away, to your comment, which is right, keeping away from the shiny products, because while it dresses them up, it also absorbs the UV, and that is what destroys the tire. The very thing that shines them up
Yeah.
is what ultimately destroys the cosmetic of the tire. It doesn't affect the belt package, but it cosmetically just destroys the exterior cosmetic level.
Yeah. And then what I ended up getting with motorhome tires, I ended up getting 40421s and 20521s. That means they were born in late January, early February of this year. So that was a huge find, and gives me a lot of comfort and safety knowing not only that they are recent, but they are recent together. It's they were very close together within a week of each other. So
And a follow-up comment on the date codes is that the industry stats tells us that people trade their coaches about every 4 years. That's just how it works out. So if somebody buys a tire that's, say, 3 years old, got a date code of 3 years, if they go to trade that coach in and sell the coach, the new buyer is going to look at the date codes, and that new buyer is not going to want to hear a story like, well, when I put the tires on, they were already 3 years old.
right.
That is not going to wash with a new buyer. They're going to say, these are the codes, the tire. So the encouragement is we don't want to needlessly penalize ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we're buying a tire that's 2-3 years dated, we're already penalizing ourselves in the future.
Yeah, and I just bought the coach in June, and they had 2016 tires on. And so
Yeah.
that's only 5.5 years old. They were early 2016, late 2015. So they're only 5 to 6 years old. But because I didn't know how well they were maintained, because I saw one tire that was showing some signs of tread wear, I wasn't going to take the chance. And so from a safety standpoint, not knowing where they've been through, and to your point, if I were looking at the coach and know I've got a multi-thousand-dollar investment to put in immediately, I'm gonna work with you on the price at a bare minimum. So it's good
Yes,
to take care of them.
absolutely.
The next thing that is very important with your tires is to maintain a really good tire pressure. So my coach, I weighed the dual axles at 13,180, and so that tells me my tire pressure should be 110. I think most of these tire manufacturers have a tire chart out there. Michelin certainly
Yep, most
does.
do. Sure. Yep.
And so that's very important to maintain the right pressure on your tires.
Sure. And if somebody finds themselves in a situation where they don't know, or maybe they hadn't checked it in a while, and they don't have time to go back to the charts, and a good, safe down the road number is 90% of maximum. Whatever's on the side of the tire, when it says maximum air pressure is 130, let's
Right.
say. A good running air pressure is 90% of that number. It might fluctuate a little bit, but you're going to be safe with 90% of the maximum.
Perfect. Yeah, that's where I'm at really is it says 120 and my weight says 110, so I'm right there in that
You're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, so it gives the belt package room to breathe. And if we think about it from an engineering standpoint, if a piece of equipment or a 2x4 or a structure of some kind, if this is the maximum load, we don't want it to be on the maximum load all the time. We want it to be below that maximum load, so it's got some flexation. And same thing with tires, same exact philosophy.
So Jeff, that's kind of everything I know about buying tires. One of the main questions I had is just, I spend a lot of time, and I'm talking multiple hours, me and my wife both on the phone trying to find tires. What's going on in the industry right now, and how were you able to do something that I spent hours trying to do? What's your guys' secret? And give us a little update on the RV tire industry right now.
Well, I guess we'll take that in steps. I think the first issue has to do with tire supply. So all of the major manufacturers, really basically all of them, there may have been an exception or two, shut down for 4 months, 3 or 4 months during COVID. And that was a shock to the supply chain. The problem got worse because when the plants came back online, they did not come back online at 100%. They're running at about 70%, depending on which manufacturer we talk to, and we're direct with several of them. So none of them are at 100%. So they're just getting further and further behind. Now, eventually the market will self-correct and the folks will come back to work at the plants will get up to 100%. But it's going to get worse before it gets better. And there are some sizes right now that we've had to take off the website because we can't get them.
They don't exist.
They don't exist. Yeah. And in the past, there's always been a solution, meaning that when something got short or when it ran out, we could call the manufacturer and there would be a solution on the horizon. Oh, we just shipped the tires, or we're building them now, or they go into production a month. Great. We'd have those, there was a solution on, there. It's in some sizes now, there is not a solution.
Yeah.
So as we have this conversation right now, Michelin is back ordered several 100,000 tractor trailer tires, hundreds of thousands. They're back ordered. So they're putting their emphasis on that, on those big numbers. And it's not just Michelin, but this is just one example. So they're putting their manufacturing emphasis on those big back orders. And motorhomes just keep getting pushed further and further down the list. They might release a few here or one or here, but where they're making big runs are on the tires where they have the big back orders.
Okay. And then how were you guys able to do it? How were you guys able to find me tires so quickly?
Well, as I think with the case with any company or individual, when we specialize in something, we tend to learn where the snakes and the weeds are. And it's just true with anything, right? So this is kind of our space. So we began to see some shortages, and we're still seeing that. We're seeing some things we couldn't believe. So we just began to think through what can we do to maybe help the situation and help our customers and be preemptive. And so some of the tires where we were able to, we would stock up as best we could, as best as the manufacturers allowed us to kind of hedge that.
Yeah. Well, I want to make sure to say a couple of shout outs, not just to you guys, but Andy and Nikki, there at your office, man, they were incredible. When I called you guys, and it was literally just I got online, started searching motorhome tires, and guess what shows up? Motorhometires.com. Uh, and uh, and so I got on and called you guys. Andy called me back within a couple hours and said, "Yeah, I got 6 tires. I'm checking the born on dates. We'll let you know before they ship." And that was unique because like when I bought the 2013s or ordered them, I hadn't paid for them yet. They were invoiced through a automotive place, and when they got there, we just had to return them. Uh, but it was like it was an inconvenience to check on the born on dates. And Andy was like, before I ship them, I got to check the born on dates. I'll let you know as soon as I get that. She called me back the next
Great.
day.
That's great.
I got your
That's
born on
great.
dates. They're on the way. They'll be there Monday. I chose the shop where I wanted to have them installed based on where I was at that time. She gave me the name to DJ and Damien um, uh, at the at the dealership there where they were installed. Uh, Commercial Tire in Orem, Utah. Everything was
Excellent.
handled.
Excellent.
And from a customer service standpoint, the coolest part of it for me is I don't want to have to beg you for information. I don't want to have to talk to the third person before I actually get some help. It's everybody called, and then Nikki, literally 5 minutes after I left the dealership, was calling me going, "Hey, did everything go okay? Did you get your tires? Are you happy? How did our service center there do, that you guys have a relationship with?" And it's that kind of follow through and follow up at every step, emailing me tracking numbers and making sure I knew everything and who to contact and when to be there. Man, I couldn't ask for more. And that to me is a sign of a good business, is somebody who actually still remembers customer service. So many places these days, due to COVID, we no longer have customer service, but that's not the case with you guys, and I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate those very, very kind words. And we, at the end of the day, we're really here to serve. I mean, of course, we're running a business. We want to try to make what profit we can, but we're really here to bring value. And what we found, and I think it's true with any business, that when that business brings value, the value comes back.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your kind words, and we're here to serve.
Well, you guys did a great job, and hopefully, if anybody's watching this, and if you need tires, give these guys a chance, because I will tell you, if you believe it all, time is money. I could have saved a lot of money just by calling them about 10 weeks earlier, because of how hard we were searching and trying to search locally and that type of stuff. They took all the guesswork out, and within a week, I had new tires on the coach, and I'll put that together with the video and show some of the install there.
That's great. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything. Yeah, just if anybody needs tires or just advice, just give us a call. We're happy to share what knowledge we can, whether it's on tires or ply or application or sizes or metric substitutes. Give us a call. Just give us a ring.
Appreciate it. Jeff, you guys take care. Thank you very much.
Take care. Blessings. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So I'm DJ from Commercial Tire in Orem, Utah. I've been with the company for just a little over 2 years now, assistant manager.
Cool. We appreciate the help getting some new shoes today. it's a little windier out here now. We had to vacate the shop so they could get more customers in here. I have my tire pressure monitors back on. Beautiful tread. I can tell you the difference in the old tire and the new tire is night and day. It's like sleeping on a hardwood floor and a Tempur-Pedic mattress. These things are riding so much better. We just rode on these same roads for the last few days, and the ride is so much better on these tires. I don't know if that's tread, newness, everything all combined, but see, I have my tire pressure monitors on here. They're all brand new. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the thumbs up, and leave us your comments. Until next time, we are BandA RV Golf.